Oh, I didn't call.
Well, I have called mine. I stopped halfway through the word marker ops and just stopped. And you got marker.
I wondered how it got called. I missed that one.
It just knows.
It's magic.
So we'll wait for Doc.
Yes.
While we're waiting, how do you just put a name?
Okay, that's still.
What do you mean by name?
Like, you mean like so that that place has a location name? We'll get into it.
That's your info box.
That's in the info box.
Yeah.
Okay, help me.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, I know.
It's 3 lines. It's understandable.
Create marker, I call it. I call it create marker there, so the same thing.
Draggable, true.
Is it a function?
Ops.
Map.
Is it function create marker?
Map is what I'm calling my
I
variable.
bet you there's a comma missing.
Let's see. Bar marker ops equals curly brace. Map.
Comma.
Ah!
You didn't save it?
I got it.
Womp womp.
Let's try that
Be sure to save your files before you look
I'm
at
on
them.
left field.
You're right field. That's what it's like.
I'm in corner.
Just saying.
Okay, so we're good.
Yeah.
The next thing that we're going to do is actually draw a path on the map. And we're going to make a function called create path and call it after we create our marker.
That's the same name.
And
So that way I don't have to worry about calling it. It's already called.
function overloading.
I wonder what would happen if you actually did do that.
Like,
There's a
could
way
you
to
scroll
find
down
out.
so that what you're typing appears higher on the page?
Yeah, there's
Yeah, I appreciate it. Okay, good.
Creating a path is a little bit more complex than the other things. You need to have an array of locations which act as vertices of the path, and those will be once again the Google Maps lat-long data structure.
What you do, Mike, is copy paste those two and then change the last couple of digits.
Yes. So I'm just going to use JavaScript's push function. It will start at the initial location of the marker. And we're going to have 4 of them. And I'm just going to make mine a square. Well, actually there are 5 of them.
And just, I've been just changing the last 2 digits of the numbers, just kind of get it to vary. And Michael, if you wanted a circular path, would the last one have to be the same?
Yes, it will have to be the same for the square as well.
Right, so the last point would have to be the same as the first.
Otherwise, it would be open.
Right, okay. In case you wanted to circle.
Okay. The next thing that you need to do is create options once again. Set up some of the parameters of the path. You need to tell it the map, which is map again. You need to tell it the array that you created. And you can do little things like change the color. I'm going to set mine to red. Push go.
I love the variable. Back. What should we call it? We could do like dice off on my map.
And then you can create the path by calling new Google Maps polyline and pass it the path options.
Can you scroll up, Michael? So
Sorry.
every time.
Not every. It didn't work the first time.
Oh, I did paths. So, syntax.
You should just know what you mean, right?
Yeah.
How did yours draw?
No.
You didn't change the numbers.
He did.
I did. I see. First, I changed the latitude from a 3 to a 4, and then I changed the longitude from a 4 to a 3.
Oh.
That's a big change. Zoom out to make sure you're like your page. It's not like really. It might be a mess.
This doesn't work.
Yeah, I mean, I'll figure it out.
I don't see it.
It might. I mean, you could also mess up. That's also an option. But I'm just saying, like, check
I think that's probably by far the better option.
I'm just saying, if that was the case, then it would be easy.
It's just, I think I'm starting at the same start point.
Right.
I don't need that. Maybe it's too small.
No, I don't need the thing I had
The path should be really, really small because of how the change.
Yeah. Try to change in the second decimal place.
Yeah.
Is there any way for the path to follow the road?
What?
Is there any way for the path to follow the road?
That's what it was. Make your path bigger. Do the opposite of what I said. Change the hundredths decimal place.
Ooh.
I mean, that's not a rule of thumb or anything. I'm just saying you'll see a change.
Yeah.
If everything else is correct.
So mine goes from pressure.
Michael, we need help over here.
Ooh.
I have a vertical line. Okay.
Oh, wait, never mind, I do it.
You got it?
Yeah.
Oh, you're cool. Alright, who hasn't got it? Raise your hand if you don't have the path. Who that's not getting help right now.
Right here, and I could.
You're good? Cool. Anyone have some really cool paths that were made by random? Mine came out to be an exactly straight line. I don't know how that happened.
I never wondered voices.
Yours actually looks really haphazard. Well, and you think it's kind of cool that it on that, like, all you have to do is basically just make an array of points and then just add them to the path to make a path. It does get into a hassle. Like, for example, on our virtual campus core, we had to go through sidewalks and such, so we had quite a bit of data to put in for those, obviously, because every time you turn, you have to make a point. Otherwise, they go directly from marker to marker. But it's, I think it's really nice that you give them the range of the path between. I think there's another function that basically automatically
made the first point also
paths between all the markers as well. So you can make bypass this step if you actually want to.
Ooh, I have something similar.
Say you push 2 points. Is there a way you could make it follow, say, the road?
That's a good question.
I know there are some applications
There
that
is.
do it. If you look at, like, the Google Doctor can follow roads.
Right.
But they
Yeah.
just may have lots of data.
Right. I believe there is. Every time we've used it, we've had to use sidewalks, so we kind of have to manually do it. But I'm sure it's Google. I'm sure they have that in there. But yeah, I think I've heard of that actually. I'm doing that. I don't remember what the function call is, but
You know how you could find out?
we're gonna get into the site that it's a square.
Well, I was going to Google it.
Yahoo it. Ask Jeeves.
Google API?
That's not gonna work. Just
Should
ask
Bing it.
Ask Jeeves.
So
Oh,
Google how to.
Bing it. Fun.
Oh, God. Isn't that the same as Googling it?
Yeah.
Yes.
Actually, it is.
Fun Google search story about that. I was in Dr. Guy's office and he was trying to show me this quote from Steve Jobs' biography, or not a biography. It wasn't. He helped, but he wasn't.
It was in the words of Steve Jobs.
Right.
So.
It was a quote from him. It basically said how Android stole the idea from iPhone from him, which I think is kind of like that's like any new technology medium. I mean, there's other car companies, not just Ford. Well, actually, Ford I think stole anyway. But anyway, we're not about car companies. The quote, we tried to find the quote on Google, and it didn't come up. We put in the quote, and it said no search results. And we're like, that's a little weird. And then we went on Yahoo, and like 1 million searches came up with the exact quote. So I don't know if we were searching for it poorly in Google, or if Google was like, it was basically just bashing Google. And it wasn't in there. It wasn't like down the list. It said no. This is not a topic on the internet.
Why is business practice?
I mean, but think about it. That's kind of scary. You could limit what people find and have them find certain information that you want them to find.
Well, think about why do you think top links are usually top links?
Exactly. This has nothing to do with Google Maps API. I'm just saying it's an ethical thing. That's like how to live. So nice.
All right. Now we're finally going to create the info window, which we're going to be using to label our markers. And I'm going to create a function called createInfo and call it before I call create.
So that's important.
It will be because we're going to be needing the info window.
Okay. Oh, I'm just.
Kind of. So then we create info. And we use another options.
What in the world?
What?
Did you mean to put info
options?
there?
That's just me, Michael.
Well, I think we could put info options.
Right, but I mean,
It's our
That
own
was
area.
just funny.
I
I
thought
had a feeling he was gonna call it later.
I thought it was an acronym for
It was
something.
INWN. I thought information window. Okay.
I win.
Let's move on.
That doesn't matter.
Okay.
So info ops, and you need to tell it the content that it's going to hold. Well, we don't have anything which specifies the content yet, so we're going to go back down to our HTML, and we're going to add another div, and we're going to call this info. And we can put whatever we want the info window to actually show when you click, when you open it. Google Maps API.
Hello world. Hello world.
Yes.
That's hello world.
And you can add tags and it will be treated just like normal HTML. Now, the problem with this is that this will actually show up on the web page and you don't want it to show up. So we're going to hide it with another div, and I'm just going to make a class called hidden.
So, Michael,
Yes.
why couldn't you make the internal div the class div? I don't remember
Which one?
I don't. Okay, so it has an ID, right? Give it the class hidden as well.
I'm not totally certain that that would work because I'm afraid that it might hide the info window when you try and display.
Oh,